So something that happened to me while I was coaching was that in week 3, probably about week 3 when we got serious, is that I almost got my ass fired. No joke, straight up. And so I'm going to tell you this story, but I'm going to tell it to you in parts, and that's how I'm going to break it up. But for real, so in part 1, let me give you the punchline first, so that we can kind of deal with all the other stuff as we go along here. But the punchline is, in order to really coach, in order to really teach something, you have to develop a relationship with folks. You can't just come out of the blue and teach something to someone that's really hard for them to learn and not have a relationship. And I think that as professors, as teachers, as coaches, I think we all can lose that. And as a coach, if you don't build a relationship with someone, you're trying to discipline them, it's like you come off as a real jerk. And that's something that I don't want to be. It's like, now trust me when I tell you this, there's coaches who really live in that space, that they want to be the jerk and they need to be the jerk. Have at it. If that's your coaching style, knock yourself out. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to be someone different. But the bad thing is that I didn't start any different. And that was unfortunate because there was this kid. And like I said, I'm going to take this one in parts. And so there was this kid on the team, and he is by far one of the most gifted athletes that is on the field. Like, bar none, he's probably the third best athlete on the field. And he's on the JV squad, right? And I mean, including the varsity, he is one of the best athletes out there. And yet he only gives like 70% of his effort like all the time, right? It's like and so that irks me all by itself. But, if you keep that wrapped up, whatever, your position coach isn't going to say nothing to you because he's a defensive back. And so he's not even, and I'm defensive line, and so we're not even interacting with each other a whole bunch. And so that doesn't bother me. It's like, have his position coach handle it. He also doesn't go 100% in games. That bothers me, but again, I'm not his position coach, and so I'm not making decisions around him. The thing that I could not tolerate, though, was that he would tear down his other players, his other teammates. And so, if they made a mistake, he would just be ripping into them. And I'm like, look, that's not healthy. We can't do that. And so we were all playing this game. And I'm like player coach. I'm like out there playing with them and doing all this stuff. And then, but I'm their coach, right? And some guy makes a mistake on his team, and he starts ripping them apart. And then I was like, hey, that's tearing people down. Don't tear people down. And he was like, that's not tearing people down. That's constructive criticism. I'm like, bro, there's nothing constructive about that criticism. All that was just you tearing them down, and you need to stop that. And he's like, whatever, right? Okay. So then he does it again, and I say the same thing, and then he say basically the same thing back to me, and I'm like, okay, look, I gotta take this one off to the side. If I go in on him now, it's not gonna be good. And so I took him off to the side, and I waited until afterwards and talked to him. But the bad thing is that I walk up to him and was like, hey, can I talk to you? And he's like, no. I'm like, no. What player says that to a coach? This player. Because I already told you he's like one of the best athletes on the field. And so, but anyway, I'm just like, no, I am going to talk to you. And he was like, well, I'm walking this way. And if you're going to talk to me, you got to walk with me. And I'm like, wow, okay. And so I'm like walking and talking with him. And I'm like, hey, yo, bro, it's like you can't be tearing down your players and stuff like that. This is not benefiting the team. And, it's like, and he was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm like, no, it does matter. It does. Of course it matters. And he's just like, whatever, coach, whatever. Good for me. And I'm like, you know what? It might be good for you, but it ain't good for the team. And now he's starting to get mad at me, and he starts cussing me out. I mean, like dropping F-bombs on me, cussing me out. And I'm like, bro, like, why are you talking to me like this? And so now I get mad. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you. I got mad too. And so he's cussing me out. He's cussing me out. I ain't cussing him out. He's cussing me out. And I'm like, you know what? And I remember him from the sophomore team, or not the freshman team. And I'm like, bro, before you quit, the freshman football team, they were losing. After you quit the freshman football team, they went on a 3-game win streak. What does that tell you as a player? And now he's really mad. And like, I'm sorry. I know how to dial people up, and I dialed them up. I knew I was wrong for that, and I'm still trying to get over how wrong I was for that. Some people I know y'all gonna write, it's like, nah, you wasn't wrong for that. It's like, look, I was wrong. I dialed him up on purpose. I didn't need to do that. I should have been better than that. I should have developed a relationship. Instead, I burnt it down, right? And whatnot. And so, but anyway, he's going off on me, like I said, just cussing me out, ripping me, and all of that. And he's just like, you know what, forget you, F that, F this. And, it's like, F him. It's like, I don't give an F. And I'm like, you know what, I know you don't give an F. We all know you don't give an F. That's the problem, right? I mean, that's the problem. And so we got to the top of the stairs, and I'm just like, that's where I got a little bit more concerned because one of the other coaches, now he's hearing everything and he intervenes on the situation and was like, hey, let him go. And I'm like, let him go? Because we had created this, I had created distance between me and this guy. And so because I knew we were yelling at each other, I didn't want to be close to him when we were doing that. But when I heard let him go, I was like, oh, snap. Is he being held back? Is he trying to come at me? So I looked, and he was. There were students around him trying to hold him back. And I'm like, what do you think you're going to do to me? I'm a grown man. I weigh 220 pounds. He weighs $150. Anyway, but I'm just saying, it's like, but that just, it's like, and I'm like, whatever, let him go. He quit on us before, probably quit on us again. And so I kept turning the knife. It wasn't good on all counts. And I know, like I said, that there will be a lot of people that are going to say, Bruce, there was nothing wrong with what you did. No, there was. There was something wrong. And that is that I didn't have a relationship with this kid, and I came in hard at him. And like I said, I know a lot of coaches have an identity in that, and that's fine. If that's the kind of coach you want to be, knock yourself out. Like I said, and there's no judgment there. That's just for real. If that's the coach you want to be, and that's the coach you are, then you be that coach. I just felt like I needed to do something different and that I could be better. Because when I talk to students and deal with tough topics in my classes like race and ethnicity and sex, gender and sexuality and class relationships and stuff, it's like when I talk to them, it's always in the middle of the semester where I always have a relationship with them because I know that those topics are going to be hard. And so I need to wait and develop a relationship with them first. And that is by far one of the most important things that I learned after having this meltdown with this kid. And I'll talk more about the suspension in the next clip.